Alright, welcome to Rauta's gaming stream for Saturday evening. Well, at least it's Saturday evening here where I live, and while nobody's online, I'm not gonna have to reply to anything. I'm just talking to myself, really. Gonna start doing some For Honor this time. Like I said, it's gonna be a surprise title. Actually, I had a little bit something different in my mind when I was picking the game, but well, as it just happens, a certain gaming event started, like I think yesterday or day before, for Honor. So I figured out, hey, what the hell? This is a good, very metal-oriented game, you know. It's all about battling enemies with your, axe, sword, whatever. It's about brutality and all that stuff, and it can be maybe fun for me to just suck at this game, and you can pretty much laugh at me and well, ask me questions while I play and suck. I'm gonna start doing with some story, kind of a single player content, because I don't know, we'll see how it's gonna turn out when I join the multiplayer, and I'm gonna get my ass kicked. But meanwhile, feel free to drop some questions. I'm gonna have a little bit of whiskey here and get my ass kicked while I play. All right. I don't know if you have actually played this game ever. I tried it at beta phase. Well, when it was more or less launched. And well, I gotta say I sucked at that also, but I really liked what the style was all about. Kicking your enemies on the battlefield. Now it seems I'm gonna just, die here. Okay, miss and fail. That's what you do when you don't concentrate on the gaming. Anyway, so as I was saying, I tried out this game at the beta phase, and I liked it, but then I kind of forgot it for a long time. I'm more a single player kind of player, really. But, decided to give it a go. Again.
Advance! Push them back! To battle!
Okay, it seems I really suck at this. What the hell I'm supposed to do?
The battle was already lost. I needed to change that.
So what are you guys up to during Saturday? Drinking, listening to metal, gaming, watching movies? Oh, what a cowardly soldier I am.
Advance! Push them back!
get my ass kicked again. Maybe do some resting here. Hey Lord of Sidra. Well, this is mostly a multiplayer game. Now it has some single player content as well. I basically started this pretty blindly for just this stream. Because, well, I kind of wanted to just do some rather random streaming. I had no better plan. Just to amuse me and the hopefully you audience right there with just some more or less random gaming and to see how it goes, where it leads, and just answer your, I don't know, questions.
Those archers need to go.
This combat mechanics is actually pretty nice, but I still kind of suck with it, as you can pretty much see. I think I need a little guidance from my bottle of whiskey right here. And I gotta say, I don't know if you're a whiskey lover or not, but I just love the taste already. I mean, the smell, not even tasting it. So this is what this is kind of a basic, kind of a story mode of the game. It's just basically fighting these enemies on the field, and this still has some tutorial comments, even though I've already played some of these tutorial. But as you can see, I kinda suck at these.
Killing all the Vikings in this area will claim the garrison for us.
You've been reading about it. Alright, what did you read about it? So some of these guys are actual kind of heroes, like knights. And some of these are just, you know, kind of a smaller mobs. You can pretty easily just,
you know, that garrison.
You know, just kill randomly. Yeah, you mean the Versu game, Sigurd? Yeah, sure. But to be honest, I don't have high expectations of that.
This place will help us.
Hello, Halberd. That's sort of a liking him. Okay, now I'm trying to kick ass of my buddies here.
You're not bad, Warden.
Yeah, God of War, by the way, that's a great game. I hadn't played any of the previous versions of those games. But when I had, you know, the newest one, it was so enjoyable story. Being kind of a, you know, really cool story about these kind of godly heroes being kind of a father and his son. And, oh yeah, you bastard shield, you motherfucker. But, I mean, God of War is a very, very different game compared to this one, but I guess you can already know it. Yeah, this is, you know, what you have to understand for Honor is that it's kind of a like melee version of what are those multiple, you know, shooter games, you know, like Call of Duty and. Hey, don't you run away from me! I'm gonna kill you. Right there. Oh, I always miss that goddamn finishing move. Yeah, but you know, even though I'm a kind of old school role-playing game, and that means that I could be basically Myfarog, my Pharaoh G, game by weakness. I mean, it's not. It might not be my cup of tea, but then again, what do I know? So what I was saying about For Honor is that it's basically just like a multiplayer kind of a first-person shooter, but with melee guys, and that's why it's not for everybody. The story mode is just kind of like, I don't know, it's not the main course here, you know. It's all about kicking ass, and now I'm just gonna waste my time on these random nutsacks. I'm just gonna go for the actual what do you have them? These goals. Okay, now you can see pretty much this is giving you the tutorial things, tips if you will, like what you're gonna need to do when you actually focus on the game. Like I said, I couldn't be gaming games like God of War or Witcher when streaming. I mean, I could, but it would be much like you know, focusing on the story. First I'm gonna just, you know, make this a little bit off balance, and then I'm gonna just do some finishing blows, and there you have it. Now I'm capturing this place. You mean, do I play this game as Vikings, or which one? I'm gonna capture some
to take
more
the flank.
places. Yes, let's do it. Yeah, well, I you know, when I started the tutorial, what I'm gonna do, you know, as multiplayer, I'm gonna just go for the Vikings. I'm gonna just try to finish this single player stuff quickly, and then I'm gonna head for the multiplayer, and you're gonna see how much I suck on the field. That's at least what I'm expecting, because people said that, yeah, if you go for Honor now, you're gonna just meet some you know, experienced players, and you're just gonna face experienced players, and you're gonna get your ass kicked. But to be honest, I don't care. I'm not so competitive, and secondly, because it's all about streaming now, it's more about also entertaining you guys versus me being actual, you know, getting some shit done here. And there you have it. Let's capture this place.
Will help us bring archers to the field.
Yeah, this is war. I've always wondered how much weakness had that, you know, Celtic Frost kind of a vibe or feeling with the with his shouts, if you will, versus, you know, being original and all that stuff.
Break the line!
Break the line, yeah! Let's do it! Let's kill you, son of bitches! As you can see, this combat of mine really looks like crap. So no wondering people are leaving the stream. Oh, this sucks. Cherry can't even play this kind of a simple game, you know? Will I review the Burzum album? To be honest, I don't know. First of all, it depends whether or not I'm gonna actually get the game. So sorry, the album seems hard to concentrate on the questions. The thing is, it's not very likely it's gonna be sent for review, and secondly, like it was mentioned, it's not metal release.
Stop!
So, don't know if it actually makes sense to review that for Rauta.
Ég klára þennan.
Get out of our
Alright, now we
way!
have some. Oh, okay, this is a badass. Okay, this is one of those. So heroes, one of the heroes, or well, would be heroes. Okay, gonna be a badass, huh? Oh, okay, I missed the execution. Sigurd, I will review both those Rauta albums, but I don't remember now what the other one was. And what I've heard about the new Burzum album is that it's supposed to be sort of a dungeon synth stuff.
Not
A
bad,
soundtrack to
Blackstone.
his
Not bad
old
at all.
role-playing game. But to
Pretty
be
sure
honest,
I could have done it by myself,
I don't
but
think that dungeon synth music is very good for role-playing soundtracks, because I mean most gaming soundtracks, most movie soundtracks, or even some dark ambient albums are so much better. And obviously there are dedicated gaming music to be played on the background, which I think makes way more sense than some dungeon stuff. But I don't know, it depends what you want, and some people are just fans of dungeon synth and all kind of synth music. As you have seen, all this kind of a retro wave, retro synth stuff from the 80s and 90s is not kind of a popular now, with lots of these names have been popping up during last few years. Hello there, Grim. So I mean, yeah, there are fan base for that kind of music, but I'm not one of those. So I don't know if it's neo-folk ambient. Might be, just that's pretty likely, to be honest. Am I familiar with the Legacy of Kain game series? Well, kinda. Never actually, I think, never played them, but I mean, I've read about them, I've seen them. I used to work at the this kind of a gaming distributor as a marketing guy and tech support guy at some point for a long time, and well, back then I saw a lot of games coming through and never had the time to play all of those games, obviously, but I mean, there was a possibility to get so many games in my hands. I didn't have the time. Now it's time to take some whiskey. Well, yeah, B-Hexen could be worthwhile soundtrack to that. Vari's favorite genre of all time is dub techno. Well, yeah, whatever. Everybody each his own and all that stuff. Yeah, many people have a soft spot for electronic music. Even the Buried guys, or Buried guy, actually turned black metal into ambient and techno stuff. So yeah, it's not that random. So what I'm supposed to do, start with a character. I'm gonna go with a sort of a Viking here. I'm gonna get my ass kicked in the multiplayer. I'm gonna start with very basic character, because since I played this game last time, have I checked out the Tolkien Vahe album? I actually reviewed the latest one, I think. I'm not sure. I'm gonna miss some of the questions because this is just scrolling pretty quickly. So ask me another time if you want. Make sure that I'm gonna see it. Hopefully, if you're a 1,000-year-old monk, yes. Sure. Alright, let's just pick this character and see how it goes. But I mean, sure, there are lots of metal musicians, especially in black metal, who went for sort of electronic music. Some did for dungeon synth, some decided to go techno, some decided to go dark ambient, something else. If you take a listen to Lord Wind, of Graveland, side project, it's very much like this. It's very much like this kind of battle music, if you will, and I think it's pretty goddamn cool. Okay, now I have seen these AI. Okay, you fuckface. I'm just gonna finish you soon.
Victory!
Victory! What do I think about Entombed? Well, all Entombed is really cool old school death metal.
Round 2.
But this nowadays Entombed, not so stoked about it. I mean, it's kind of a death and roll. It has its moments, live especially, but it's this kind of death and roll, black and roll. Never liked it too much. There you have it, you bastard. And I'm not sure if I actually heard Mandar now that you ask me about it. See how much I sucked when I tried to block here. Well, yeah, Doctrine totally went for this kind of a black and roll later on with them albums, and that's when I kind of started to lose the grasp with
Round 3.
Doctrine, really. I mean, you might know that Doctrine is my favorite black metal band of all time, but when it started to change too much, can't say I liked it that much. What is my gamer tag? It's Serpent Triple F. That is Serpent FFF. I think it's shown here. And I don't play GTA Online, not anymore. I used to give it a try when it was released, with my Xbox back in the days, but I didn't like it too much, so I kind of okay, I'm gonna get my ass kicked here. Old Star is not a bad album, by the way, but I just think it could have been so much better.
Victory!
Hello, Crentadio. Crentati, I don't know how to say it, it's too complicated. Name for my lack of English skills. I'm gonna reply to those friend requests later. I'm not gonna bother.
The faction war is the persistent cross-platform conflict between the knights, Vikings, and samurai.
How Old Star could have been better? I think it had some songs which were really nice, but mostly I think most of the songs were too lengthy, and they had this kind of a bad you know, I wouldn't go songwriting, but the compositions, they were not to the point, you know. So how to say it, they were not
Battles occur every
so
11
good in
hours,
terms
while
of being
campaigns last 2
compact
weeks,
and
seasons
with the
last
patterns
10
and
weeks.
riffs and all that stuff
After each
versus
battle,
older Dark
the
Throne
faction with the
albums,
most
which I
troops
liked
on
a lot.
specific
So
territory
they had this
controls
kind of a
them.
mammoth
The world map will update
thing,
and the different fronts.
which
A
Metallica
portion
had
of the enemy
basically
faction's troops
had, you
are
know,
left behind on conquered territories.
having these
The front defines which
two
map
lengthy
you will
tracks,
play on.
you know.
A map that was controlled by the knights and is now controlled by the samurai will have many
So
visible changes.
while I
At the
did
end
like
of
some
each
of the
campaign,
riffs and
players who
ideas at,
participate
you know,
will
All
get a
Star,
reward depending on the rank
but,
of their faction in that campaign. Once the season
you know,
ends,
it's
everyone
just
gets
not
rewards
that good an
depending
album
on
in
the
my
rank
opinion.
of their faction. At the end of each season, the faction war is reset and will resume after an off-season period. The world will forever be
And like I said, I'm
impacted by
gonna
what
miss some of
happened in
these
the
questions
previous
and comments you're
seasons
making,
of For
depending
Honor.
what happens in the game. I'm still trying to play the game while reading your comments and replying them, but if you see me not answering your questions, it doesn't mean I ignore you. I just gonna miss them because I'm replying some older questions. Well, I mean, yeah, Dark Throne has good production in terms of what Dark Throne good production means. But, I mean, Old Star has some good elements and some not so good elements, in my opinion, when it comes to Dark Throne. But I wouldn't put it into top 10 Dark Throne albums, maybe. Well, hard to say. I made already that worst to best Dark Throne list, so if you wanna take a look at my opinion about which Dark Throne sucks more than, or which albums are the best, well, they have it with video. I don't even remember outright the whole list just like that. You know, how would I put them in any order? But yeah, Transylvanian Hunger, it's just awesome. You know, those albums, Under a Funeral Moon, Transylvanian Hunger, Panzerfaust, they have such great raw production, and they're really dark, really sinister, really inhumane. But later years, Dark Throne has become more like a kind of a retro heavy meeting black metal. It's kind of a black and roll with that kind of a proto heavy. So that's why I don't like it. I mean, it's just losing the grasp. It's not like they're figuring out for themselves like what they're gonna do, you know. It's not like, hey, let's do a heavy metal album, but it's more like, hey, we're gonna do half heavy, half black, and in the end, it doesn't please neither heavy metal fanatics nor black metal fanatics. What I think about punky black metal bands like Upstart, I don't think they're that punky. They're very melodic with some albums, kind of what like some German pagan metal bands are all about. One could even say that without Upstart having those NSBM contacts, they would be labeled as more or less melodic metal band or melodic black metal band in so many ways. Surely they have some punk stuff too, but I mean, in general, labeling Absurd as punk black metal bands and stuff like that, I don't really think it sticks. And yes, there is Discord server for Rauta. I'm usually right there to just talk about random stuff, especially during my job hours. Sometimes other hours as well, but it's totally random. I don't think it's unpopular opinion to say the Funeral Moon is the best of the trilogy. I used to think that for a long time, like, I don't know, 10-15 years. I always thought that Under Funeral Moon is the best Dark Throne album of all time. Only last fall, when I was going through the whole Dark Throne discography, I figured out that I still like Transylvanian Hunger even more, even though I had always thought that, like, you know, Under Funeral Moon is the shit. But I don't know, Transylvanian Hunger, it's still a little bit better, but hard to say. Quintessence is a great song, you know, from Panzerfaust, one of the best ones, but it's also used on Storm album, if you actually remember Storm album by Fenris and Satyr, you know, playing Storm, even though it's kind of a folk black metal album. I haven't heard Black Crown Initiate. I actually saw an email just today, I think, about it, but I haven't just, you know, listen to it. Do I listen to more progressive, depressive black metal? Well, yes, some of the bands I really like. Life Lover is not even the most depressive. It has kind of a happy tunes as well. Grift is pretty okay, what I remember, but I would say I would go Abyssic Hate, Forgotten Tomb, and Shining, early ones, if I wanted to go for the best depressive black metal stuff. Right there. The more darker, the more sinister, the better. A Blaze in the Northern Sky is really good, but I wouldn't put it in my top 5 of Dark Throne albums. I mean, the first half of Abidden, that is A Blaze in the Northern Sky, is really good. But towards the end, I mean, it's not that great. It's good, but it's not that great. I don't know why people kind of worship A Blaze. Maybe because of some songs like Catharian, Life Code, or In the Shadow of the Horns. But, you know. Early Behemoth. Well, some of them are rather nice, but I think it's still work in progress. But I mean, Behemoth has some certain kind of original vibe back in the days. But Behemoth, in my opinion, reached the top moments when they went for more technical death metal, from which they came back to do more kind of a blackish stuff and what they're doing nowadays. And I think I might be quite alone with that opinion, you know, because after all, it's not that most people like Behemoth when they did death metal versus their black metal. Shining, yeah, the first 3, 4, 5 albums they're just great. I mean, I like the later albums as well, but and I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do. Let's take this ruler of time. This is supposed to be the time and event. Yeah, Behemoth was doing player versus AI, players versus player. Yes, let's do it. New Fergie track. I know this online, but I haven't heard it. War noise bands. Well, I have reviewed Kapala, for example. I have heard Tetragrammacyde, and not my thing really. I mean, I have hard time enjoying kind of a noise stuff or power electronics even. Live, it's a different case when there's visuals, but when it comes to actual you know, listening to just plain albums, I don't think it's that much my kind of a thing. And because of this overwhelming amount of metal albums I've been sent recently, like past 18 months or so, I've stopped reviewing that stuff because I don't have the time. War metal as whole is great. You might know my own band, My own band is kind of a war metal band. That is in terms of lyrics and topics, you know, what I'm singing about. But, you know, I don't think those bands which are just copycat bands of blasphemy or revenge or whatever, most of them are rather boring. Yes, I do like Graveland a lot, especially the earlier ones. You know, albums like Celtic Winter, Thousand Swords, stuff like that. Debut album, I mean, it's really good. Graveland manages to be raw, yet at the same time very atmospheric. So it's kind of like, you know, some of the raw black metal meeting Bathory in a way. I think that's what Graveland made so great with the early albums. But later on, when it started to move towards kind of epic stuff, I didn't pay that so much attention to it. Blake Wilder is pretty okay Dark Throne album, but I don't think it's one of the best. What you should check out, in my opinion, are albums such as The Cult is Alive, for example. I never thought that Beherit was that much of a blasphemy ripoff. I mean, surely they had this kind of same lo-fi attitude and stuff like that, but I think Beherit was doing still stuff of their own. Archgoat maybe closer to Blasphemy than Buried, but you know. Well, yeah, I'm not saying one is able to copy Conqueror Revenge as such, but I mean, you know what I mean when I'm saying that fast-paced bands doing Black Death kind of a combo, trying to just kind of hide their mediocre riffs with just crazy ass blasting drums, fast-paced, you know, evil riffs, if you will, which results so many times doing just kind of a bad death metal and bad black metal with kind of a shitty production. You know, I mean, it's hard to compete when you come from black metal background. It's really hard to compare with those skilled death metal guys because they're usually better players, they're more intense, better production and stuff like that. So black metal's forte is not in the same kind of a field, you know. If you want to be really good with fast-paced black metal and trying to sound brutal, don't even try to imitate death metal but with just poor production, because you're gonna lose. I mean, you get only so far with just playing fast and trying to be violent and chaotic, but in the end it all comes down to good riffs, good songwriting, good compositions, like how you're gonna create the whole song. I mean, if you just put it everything like fast, it's gonna suck. I mean, it's not gonna fly for a long time. I used to think that, you know, whatever you need is just that kind of a brutality, that speed, that fast playing to be kind of a violent and all that stuff. It's gonna just do the trick. That was me, I don't know, maybe in my 20s. Later on I started to figure out, like, you know, bands such as Marduk, for example, they have so much more going on than just the fast pace. It's gonna only take you so far, and then you're gonna figure out there are lots of better bands doing the same thing, you know, fast-paced brutal metal in so much better ways. Proclamation, yeah, and also bands like, you know, Black Witchery. At some point, you know, like maybe 10, 15 years back, it seemed like, you know, there was this kind of a scene happening that bands like Blasphemy and Archgoat were the spearhead, and there were other bands like Proclamation and Black Witchery and the rest that had this kind of a same thing going on. But once you start, you know, separating the good from the not so good ones, you figured out these copycats didn't have the originality, they didn't have the good songs. They were like just like copying the basic idea, and you're like, why would I listen to this one, this copy one, versus, I don't know, some Archgoat or Blasphemy one? And to be honest, I don't think even Blasphemy is that good. I mean, they are one of the originators, they're the veterans, you cannot criticize them for being that. But if you think about those, you know, songs themselves, I don't think they're that wonderful. Maybe in terms of black death metal field, they have their own thing going on. But like I said, me coming from a strong death metal background as well, I mean, it's not that great in my opinion. I'd rather go with, you know, like early Ball Thrower. I'd go with Origin, or if I want to go with more technical stuff, well, Origin counts as that. I would go with bands like, you know, Nile. I mean, in those terms, Blasphemy doesn't really give me the kick, if you will. And it seems this matchmaking is not happening, so I'm just gonna remove myself from this event and try something else. Else I'm gonna just end up talking to you guys, which is nothing wrong with that, but let's see. Deathmatch Dominion. Okay, let's try Dominion. Yes, I did review the latest Nile album, and yeah, I like it a lot. I'm actually wearing a Nile shirt now, by the way. And yeah, you can't go compare Blasphemy to Nile. not in the terms of being the same genre, but I mean, I'd rather go with full-blown death metal album than just kind of a black death hybrid most of the time. You know, the funny thing is, I like thrash metal a lot. I like death metal a lot. I like black metal a lot. But most of the time, I don't care so much about these hybrids. Black trash, trash death, death black. I mean, most of the times these hybrids are not the best of the both worlds, but rather not being able to combining these elements of two different genres, you know. So most of the time I'd rather go with just pure black metal versus black death. I go with pure death metal versus black death. But that's just me, and I know there are a lot of people who are not interested in death metal or not interested in thrash metal, but they might be going on with, you know, black trash or black death, you know. So it's obviously it's a matter of taste, what you want to do, what you want to listen to, what kind of kicks you gotta get out of it. And I mean, nothing wrong with that, but I think people are also overlooking the fact that, you know, because black metal is so satanic or dark or sinister or whatever, that death metal isn't doing that. But I think lots of death metal bands are really dark, and they're really brutal, and they're really violent, and in so many ways even more than black metal, you know. So I think it's kind of foolish to just overlook certain kind of genre just because you haven't found the so-called right bands. Yes, I know Gorguts, but it has been so many years since the last time I actually heard that, so I don't even remember which albums. Okay, it seems like these servers are not responding. Let's see how it goes. I also remember Ulcerate, but it's been many years since the last time. On Namrod, that I haven't heard. I have no idea what married guys are up to these days. No idea. I have a vague feeling that they are still part of the well, electronic music scene. Well, I've heard Al Namrod name, but I haven't, you know, actually heard it, I think. Necrophagia is really great. One of the best bands about being about horror, you know, being kind of old school and stuff like that. Really kind of a dirty and zombie-like. I don't know if Markolai is chilling in China. He used to travel to India at least and make these kind of techno stuff. Yeah, I think he became Buddhist so many years ago. That was also seen in the black metal documentary. Okay, let's see how much I'm gonna get my ass kicked. I'm not gonna be online for too long time. I have a early wake-up call tomorrow, so I'm just gonna stick around here for I don't know, maybe some 15-20 minutes. Orphan Land, that's a band I even remember from the 90s.
You lost Zone A.
But I haven't really heard it. Oh, okay, I'm getting ganked here. Hey, motherfuckers! Try to get me one-on-one. I'm gonna get your ass kicked. Okay, and there I am dead. I remember liking actually Orphan Land back in the 90s.
You captured Zone B.
But I don't think I have heard it, you know, in 2000s. Okay, respawning time. What the hell, I do have skeleton friends here.
You lost Zone A.
My Dang Bride, I actually got the album of the, copy of the new album just like 2 days ago. I'm gonna review it hopefully on Monday. I don't know exactly for sure if I have time. I've listened to it a couple of times and it's really moody stuff. I can tell you that stuff. It's okay, and I was finished. My Dang Bride is some band I used to like quite a bit in the early and mid 90s, having this kind of combination of doom and death metal. You know, the early albums having growly vocals and really heavy riffs and very depressive, dark, atmosphere. But then they started to get softer, and my own taste for music was getting kind of a heavier. So, oops. Okay, once again I'm gonna get gagged. Alright, that was unfair fight. Trophy for that kill. But yeah, new My Dying Bride is not for everybody.
You lost Zone A.
But, you know, it's not for everybody, obviously. It's not for people who are looking for really heavy stuff. But I mean, it's great in so many ways. As you can see, I have a hard time to properly to have this conversation while I fight.
You captured Zone A.
I gotta say, I missed Deadless Kings album back in the days. There was so many years since I've been listening to My Dying Bride the last time. I kind of fall off the wagon, if you will. Because, you know, being listening to so many death and black metal albums there, but you know, I'm still trying to
You lost Zone A.
okay, now let's just finish this motherfucker. Sarin Vomit, I know it only by okay, I tried to get away. I only know it by name, haven't heard it. Yeah, it's really hard to keep up with everything, you know? Because so many albums coming all the time. Big bands, small bands, underground, mainstream, you know? It's
You captured Zone B.
it's really, really hard. It's not like I'm complaining, but I mean, just saying that it's hard to keep track of everything. It's hard to listen to just everything, and it's kind of given that you're gonna miss a lot of albums when you don't have that time to just listen to everything. Gotta say, I am interested in New Inquisition as well because, you know, I think the latest one was the best one so far. But now it's whiskey time. But then they had this kind of a legal thing. So I don't know how this hiatus phase has treated them, to be honest. And even though Inquisition never made a bad album or even mediocre one, I think they have gotten better with the later years. And I saw Inquisition some maybe 15 years ago in my home city. It was quite interesting, even though it's not so much, in my opinion, a live band as it is a studio band or, well, album band, if you know what I mean. But I still think it's worthwhile seeing live if you can. At least it's not your typical.
You lost Zone A. Breaking. Your team rallied.
Okay, once again I died. Evil, I saw only Evil a little bit at Steelfest, but they sounded quite nice. You can clearly see, or hear rather, how Satanic War Master is influenced by bands such as Evil.
Victory!
Hey, we won! Woohoo! And Inquisition is an interesting case when it comes to the vocal. I wasn't even the worst! Look at me! I'm like the 5th guy out of 8. Not that bad, considering I kind of started today. Yeah, Inquisition, I gotta say, they have one of the most interesting vocals, like, ever in black metal. We used to call them kind of a granny, that is grandma vocals, with this kind of a very dry, I couldn't even call them screamy, or streaky or screamy, but more like this kind of a, you know, I don't know what it's called, what the voice is. Yeah, well, we used to joke about a lot being kind of a granny vocals, you know, like, oh, bring me that tomato soup. I need to sleep before I die of this diarrhea. Well, you know. But yeah, I mean, it kind of fits the mood, you know. Inquisition has some kind of a special mood. But those vocals are kind of a acquired taste kind of thing. People probably end up liking them and loving them or hating them. I am in the middle, however. But I mean, there's something nice because, you know, being kind of original, being not your typical ones. But obviously I get it, it's not for everybody. People started to leave the stream right away when I started to imitate Inquisition. I wonder why. So guys, I need to go soon. I've been here like almost an hour. What do you think? Next week some totally different surprise game. Once again, it's probably more on the side because obviously chatting with you guys is the main thing here. this is just me killing time and showing you how much I suck with the games. Well, I don't maybe suck with all games, but anyway. I don't know Moru personally, but obviously I know him by name, yes. I think Moru is one of the most active ones on the Discord, actually. I gotta say, I hope nobody's listening to me, you know, on the team here. So no comments about the actual game next week. We're just gonna do some other game. Or you don't care what I'm actually playing, you're just here for the chat. Well, yeah, I gotta take a look at this super chat. I don't actually know how it works, to be honest. Never bothered to check out. Well, I'm glad if you don't care what the game is, because it's more about
Zone A.
talking about stuff with you guys. I'm glad if you think that way. But it doesn't matter. If I'm able to pull it off, I can guarantee it, obviously, but I try to do this more or less on a weekly basis if I can, you know, when I have time to chill out during Saturday night with some whiskey and some talk. That would be kind of a cool to do this kind of talk. Yeah, please do check out that Turku Saatana video. I think it is quite informative about the festival, actually. Obviously, I'm kind of biased to say whether or not it's gonna be informative for you guys. But at least I tried to share you some of the thoughts about how it was, in my opinion. I don't think Antifa is so much. I think religious fanatics were more fucked by Turku Saatanalle Fest.
You captured Zone A.
Because, you know, last year Turku Saatanalle got cancelled from the original venue because of those religious people. So I don't know. None of these bands are actually that much related to what Antifa is doing. Yeah, the venue got changed because kind of a last minute, because one of the, I think CEO of the venue, Koren, is a religious leader or something. I don't think really, but since childhood or something. So that is the reason why it got cancelled.
You lost Zone C.
Well, yeah, you know, you can pretty much see people from the left and people from the right with places like Steelfest, you know. People always think that there's this kind of open war, some shit going on, you know, between these two extreme groups, but I don't think it's true. I mean, lots of people are just there to, you know, enjoy the band, and you know, so it's not so much about. It's not so much about being, you know, extreme group versus another. You know? Yes, Rauta is live for a little bit. And to reply to your question about Metal Brotherhood, yes, it's more about that. People go to places like Steelfest to see the bands and, you know, enjoy the atmosphere. It's not about right wing versus left wing or whatever. People don't. I mean, people might have their political opinions and whatever, but it's not like the reason they go to these venues is to make a fight about their political agenda, you know. I mean, people are, after all, listening to music.
Lost
They're
Zone C.
they're in metal because of the bands, not because they want to, you know, shout out their political opinion. You know, it's not that hard really. But people have this, you know, thing in their minds going on, and you know, it must be something really, really like something special. You know, kind of a war, like Antifa and NS people, you know, on each other's throats and all that shit. But I think that's
You
just
captured
fantasy.
Zone C.
Yeah, I mean, most people in
You
those
lost Zone
that
A.
respect are much like me. That is, if I like a band, Goat Moon or some left-wing band, it doesn't matter, you know, what the politics behind it is. But maybe that's just me. Who knows?
You lost Zone C.
Rauta is lifestyle. Yeah, I wish.
You captured Zone C.
Oh no, now I'm gonna get fucked like that. And I think it's my time to finish my whiskey and, you know, just... Oh, this game is gonna just last like forever. I'm gonna just get fuck around.
You captured Zone A.
Sorry guys, I'm just gonna log out from the game. You didn't know I'm a gamer. Well, I don't think it has been discussed that much on the channel, but yeah, I've been a gamer since like I don't know, early 80s, you know. Started with Commodore 64, you know, and then through Commodore Amiga to PC, later on Xbox and, you know, PlayStation and all that stuff. I do like to relax with games more than with movies because I'm kind of a hyperactive person at some point, at some times, and to be honest, I get restless if I'm just there to, you know, watching a movie. I need to do something. That's why I suck at reading as well. I need to do something, and you know, with games I get to do stuff. Meanwhile, I'm enjoying the story, or well, multiplayer games. I'm just enjoying the fights. You know, games just give me something more than watching movies, TV shows, reading a book, or, you know, listening to metal. I haven't played Assassin's Creed nor Grease Simulator, Goat Simulator, but I actually have Assassin's Creed, at least Unity and Odyssey and Origins. So who knows? Maybe I will play them in time. What's my favorite console? That's kind of hard to say. I guess I am forced to say PlayStation 4 because you know, it has the best exclusive games in my opinion. But I'm not so much, I don't care so much if it's Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation. I'm more about the games themselves. But to be honest, I think PlayStation, at least nowadays, has the best exclusive games. That is, you know, games such as God of War, The Last of Us, Spider-Man. I'm a big Marvel fan, or used to be a big Marvel fan, so Spider-Man definitely had me going on with its kind of a superhero action. Much like those Batman Arkham games did the thing for me. No Final Fantasy VII. I used to try it back in the 90s when I was at the tech support games distribution company, but I felt like that is too manga for me, too Japanese for my liking. They are supposed to be great games, that is Final Fantasy series, but I never got myself into that Final Fantasy world. So no, I haven't played them, like, except for a few minutes test here and there. Yeah, there has been a rumor going on about new Assassin's Creed game being about Viking world, and it's quite possible because often those rumors are confirmed. Often they actually have some truth in them, but it's too early to say if it's true or not. I guess we will know about that later on this year when Ubisoft actually releases some information. There has been talk about other interesting titles from Ubisoft like Far Cry and all that stuff, which I'm a fan of. But I don't know. But Assassin's Creed is something that I need to get my head into because I kind of like the genre. But I just, for some reason, I actually haven't played them except the first one, which I never finished. There was something annoying with some side, missions and restarting and whatever. So I kind of just canceled the game. You found that Satan War Master likes an anime. Oh yeah, it looks like weird. When reading the chat, it seems like A9. Yeah, Satan War Master Lauri is he's a avid gamer and all that stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was big in anime and manga and whatever. And yeah, I think we need ancient Japanese settings with Assassin's Creed and ninjas and samurais. Ninjas especially would fit Assassin's Creed world very, very great. How I play Dark Souls games or Bloodborne? I actually have Dark Souls 3 there, besides one of my speakers. I think some people spotted in one of the reviews that I have there. It has been waiting for me to start. But I haven't been too keen to start it because, well, I just finished Dead Stranding not too long time ago. And I still remember how hard Bloodborne was on me. I never finished it. I don't think I passed the third boss. I just gave it up. I mean, I know it's all about GG, get good. But I'm not that good. I'm not the young guy anymore, and I don't have the patience. I don't play games to feel challenges, life is fucking challenge. And then when I do powerlifting, I always feel the challenge with the weights, when I game, I just want to relax. Multiplayer games are different. The other people are the challenge. Beating AI monsters and boss matches, not my thing. But I mean, I like the world of Bloodborne. I think I would love the world of Dark Souls games. I don't think I have it, but I still traded that Dark Souls 3 for myself in order to give it a try. Yeah, Bloodborne definitely has this kind of a Lovecraftian feeling, which I really like. I mean, it's so goddamn full of horrors. It's just incredibly dark. It's incredibly sinister. It's so violent. It's just full of horrors, and that kind of got me drawn into it. But to be honest, it's too hard for me. Me personally, I don't care about anime. I don't care about manga. I can't get myself to like those big-eyed Japanese creations. There is something wrong with my wiring in my head, but I have a hard time enjoying that. I don't mind if others do, but for me it's just too weird. Anyways, guys, it has been my pleasure to have a talk with you. I'm just finishing here my whiskey, not anymore starting a new game. So, do you have some final questions you might feel like asking before I end this stream. Because next week it's gonna be some other game. I'm not gonna reveal it right yet. I haven't even fully decided yet. I have one game in my mind, which I'm gonna do a random streamingly. And yeah, I will stream. I try to stream every week from now on. I might have pauses here and there, obviously, when I have things to do on Saturday evening. Sometimes it might be different day, Friday or Sunday, not weekdays, but I will stream. I enjoy actually talking to you lot, and it's fun to show you these different games. So let's see. And about the Berit interview, the thing is, I have asked Holocausto already a few months ago. I think I sent him email and Facebook message, but I never got answered. So I need to pull some other strings. I got told that he might be slow to answer on emails, but I don't know. I really don't know if Holocausto, that is the Berit guy, is up for interview. He might if he knows the channel and if he's not uncomfortable, you know, doing video stuff. After all, he was in that Gehenna
After so many
Gehenna
signs,
documentary, but I don't know.
all
At least
believed the
I've
end of
tried.
times was nigh,
I haven't tried
or so they thought.
Sniper 4. I actually haven't played any of those Sniper
The
games.
earth
I
quietened
do know the
without warning,
games,
and a
but
new dawn
I don't know.
came.
I never got my head around them.
Hope
Too many games,
filled
pretty
the
much the
warriors'
same
minds.
situation as with movies
For the first
and
time in ages,
you know, albums. You don't
they
have the
remembered
time
the
for them
many
all.
heroes who had fallen,
About Mikko Aspa, I've actually
who once fought
asked
for
him like
peace
2 or 3 times, and while me and Mikko are sort
for
of
a brief
friends,
moment.
Mikko has
The leaders
declined
of Heath
in a
Moor
polite
ceased
way.
their quarrel.
You know, he has said
was
that
called
he doesn't
Truce of
feel like
Wydendale.
doing video interview. I don't know if you saw the Gehenna interview. He had his kind of not face blurred, but kind of a darkened, so he wasn't there with, you know, with his face shown properly when talking. So while Mikko is really cool guy, I don't think he likes the format, what Rauta is all about. That being said, you know, people shown and all that stuff. So I don't think he would have hard time doing an interview with me if it was in written format or maybe in spoken format. And I have been thinking about podcasts and, you know, voice only interviews at some point. But then again, it doesn't feel like Rauta so much. Rauta interviews, you know what I'm talking about. Showing the people right there for what they are, their reactions, their faces, emotions, you know, body language and all that stuff, impressions. So I don't know if it's worthwhile doing, because obviously if you want to read Mikko Aspa or Clandestine Blaze or Northern Heritage interviews, like in written form, there are plenty of interviews out there. Me, I never did a Clandestine Blaze split, as if you mean like with like 2 bands doing a split. We have been featured on same kind of compilations. But about Berit, I don't know. I'm trying to get into contact with Berit guys, or Berit guy, Holocausto
After
at some
so
point
many
again through a
signs.
friend. I don't know how it will end up, but at
All
least it's
believed the
possible.
end of times was nigh.
Anyway, I think
so
I'm
they
gonna
thought.
bid you farewell. I have early time
The
waking
earth
up,
quietened
so
without
I
warning,
should be
and a
heading
new
to bed.
dawn came.
See you soon with more reviews and
Filled the
interviews
warriors'
coming your way.
minds.
Obviously,
For
Steelfest
the
isn't
first
happening,
time in
so I'm gonna
ages.
miss a lot of cool interviews which would have
They
been
remembered
taking
the many
place
heroes who
there.
had fallen.
But at least we have 4 interviews coming from
Who
Turku
once
Saatanalla
fought
Fest.
for
I think they
peace.
all turn out to be nice. So stay tuned for
For a
next
brief
couple of months
moment,
or so.
The leaders
And
of
you
Heat
shall
War
be
ceased
served.
their quarrel.
And what other interviews coming this spring,
It
summer,
was
I do
called
not know, except for that Goat Moon
Truce
still
of
should
Wivendale.
take place. So I will be keeping you informed about those interviews anyway. Yes, there it would be fucking legendary. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, good night now, fellas, and was nice to have you on board. And now I'm gonna just quit this stream, and I hope you catch up with you next week. Good night, lads and ladies. I don't think there is ladies out there, but anyway, go enjoy some beer, whiskey, coffee, whatever you need to do, and take care. Good night, and see you around with more streams coming your way. Bye bye.